Hello and welcome to the United... I'm in the wrong slit. There we go. Hello and welcome to the United Community Channel. My name is Jack and this is your latest Manchester United news. And it's a good ending to a bad week for Manchester United. All of the worry, all of the concern, we had nothing to worry about. Ligt and Mazraoui are joining Manchester United according to Florian Plettenberg. We're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about all things positive. It looks like Wan-Bissaka is exiting Manchester United, getting close to it. Manuel Ugarte talks continue. Jadon Sancho to exit the club. Talks are progressing. It's all so good. Hold on now. We've got a few things in the shot. Want to get them out of the way. But yeah, I mean, it's a great end to a disappointing week for Manchester United. So we're going to talk about all of them things. Obviously, Ligt, Mazraoui, Ugarte are the big ones. Exiting then, we're talking about Jadon Sancho, Wan-Bissaka. All of these deals supposedly are progressing well. We've got an update on Berge to Manchester United. Is this really going to happen? And he's been... I suppose the price tag has been put on his head. No thanks, by the way. We're going to talk as well, guys, about Manchester United being linked with a centre-back, a left-footed centre-back. We're talking about the Ligt, but reports are suggesting that Mario Hermoso, formerly of Atletico Madrid, who's now a free agent, is on Manchester United's radar. We'll give you an update on that. And we'll update you as well on the travelling squad to Wembley for, obviously, tomorrow's big game against Man City in the Charity Shield. But before that, guys, please do smash a like on the video. Hit subscribe if you are new to the channel. Like I said, we're very, very close to 11,000 subscribers, so please do hit that subscribe button. Anybody on TikTok, reading out all the comments over on YouTube. Link is on my homepage. Get over there. Let me fix this camera. Wrong way. That way. There we go. That's better. OCD. But yeah, very, very positive news coming out in the last hour or so in relation to a number of deals for Manchester United. Let's talk about them and get through them as much as we possibly can. But yeah, guys, get your comments in to the comment section below. I'm a bit all over the place with this intro, to be honest with you. Let's get straight into it. And we're going to talk about these two. Florian Plettenberg has been speaking about a potential double deal for Manchester United to get Mazraoui and De Ligt. He says, clear tendency at this stage. Mazraoui and De Ligt will join Manchester United in August. If all goes to plan, a double transfer will be completed. Positive and ongoing negotiations between the clubs are underway. Man United and Erik ten Hag are pushing for both players. Bayern willing to sell. No deals are done yet, but progress is being made. This is absolutely what we wanted to hear, isn't it? Oh yeah, and it's Friday as well, by the way. So, cheers. This is exactly what we wanted to hear. It really, really is. And I think the fact that we've been, concerned and worried about this over the past maybe week or so, it is normal from Manchester United fans, okay? And they're getting a lot of it online and on TikTok and so on and so forth. People are worrying in the comments, and that's completely understandable, given what we've been through over the last 10 or 11 years. As fans, we are used to nothing else but being let down in the transfer market and, panic buying and, so on and so forth. We said at the start of this transfer window that... Now, and look, nothing is done yet. Let me put it out there first. Nothing is done yet in relation to any of these deals, okay? But we said at the start of the transfer window that Ineos have a plan. Dan Ashworth, Jason Wilcox, Omar Barada, these guys have a plan, and they're not going to stray from the plan. They're not going to panic buy. They've identified players. They're going to try their best to get it done. Now, I think we can say more than 100% that none of these players are going to play against Fulham. None of them are going to be in and integrated into the squad enough to be available for the game against Fulham. It's just not going to happen. But from a personal standpoint, the fact that we probably don't have to watch Maguire and Lindelof play this season again as much as we did last season is a bit of a relief more than anything else. And look, we know that Manchester United are desperate to sign another centre-back. And we know, obviously what's after happening with Lenny Yoro is less than ideal. And De Ligt has been our target from day one. Now, what has stopped that? I don't know. I think there's been a number of different things that has maybe started it. I think first and foremost, Lenny Oro kind of came out of nowhere. Now there was reports suggesting that United had identified him, back in March or April, and that we were speaking with representatives, since then. But so were probably, half of the clubs in Europe. So the fact that I think we got that done and got it over the line in such a quick fashion that it maybe put De Ligt on the back burner a little bit, because De Ligt was leading the speculation in terms of being the first signing for Manchester United in the summer transfer window. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Lenny Oro comes in. So I think that was probably the first reason why De Ligt was put on the back burner. Then all of a sudden, Lenny Oro gets injured, and that excels Manchester United's want for a centre-back again. Now, there's been some complications in terms of Bayern Munich not lowering their asking price. They want to go out and get another centre-back, Jonathan Tah of RB Leipzig, I think it is. They're desperate to sign him. Now, they do have to sell somebody first. So that again throws the ball back into Manchester United's side of the court and advantage us. But again, we've got the injury to Lenny Oro. So Bayern Munich know that we need a centre-back. These are all, factors that determine the price of a player. It's just the way it is. And because of these things, it has probably slowed down the negotiations. And I think that's why we're seeing it drag on into August. And to be honest with you, we won't. Now, we might have them signed before the Fulham game next week. You would never know. But if Florian Plettenberg is to be believed here, it's going to get done in August. Okay, now, we play next week in our first preseason game. There's still 2 weeks to go after our first game in relation to the end of the transfer window. So, I think we don't have to be... Obviously, we want to get it done as quickly as possible. Of course we do. But there are more games than Fulham in the Premier League season. And I think that's taken a little bit of weight off and concern. But yeah, I'm absolutely loving it. I really am. I have to say, it's great news, and it's very positive news on the back of a week where we were getting links with, alternatives to De Ligt, alternatives to Ugarte, who we'll get onto in a moment as well. And to finish the week out strong like this with some positive news is really good. It's really good. So cheers to that. Let's see what you guys in the comments are saying here. Chris says, where's the best blue jersey? Take down that title. The third jersey. Dara says, any news on Hermoso? I personally think he'd be decent. We're going to get into that in a few minutes, Dara. Absolutely. Danny says, that's the best news ever for Man United. We badly need to sign more players. Great news. We also need to offload players as well. But things will happen in time. Just need to be patient. Now, look. Spot on there by Danny, in fairness. Evergreen clear, yeah, alright. Relax there now, will you, for fuck's sake, Liam. You're after completely throwing me off what I was going to say there. Yeah, we do need to be patient. We do need to be patient. Like we said, Ineos have a plan. Ineos know what they're doing. Dan Ashworth, Jason Wilcox, Omar Barada, these lads know what they're doing. They just know what they're doing. Speedy, you're an absolute muppet. I'm going to get rid of you. See you after. Good luck. Anyway, so I think that patience is key here. Patience is going to be key. Like we said, we've got more than 3 weeks to go before the end of the transfer window. So let's not panic too much. Because, like I said, deals for players at big clubs don't get done relatively quickly. They just don't, okay? And we're buying 2 players off of Bayern Munich and we're buying 1 off of PSG. We're also trying to offload players as well, and we'll talk about the difficulties about that in a few minutes. But patience is key. It's great to hear these reports coming out from Florian Plettenberg saying that it is going to get done. Double transfer will be completed. Now, when you're talking about somebody like Florian Plettenberg, it's going to be very difficult for him to put his neck on the line and say that transfers will get done unless he's absolutely certain that they will. So I think it can only be a positive thing. Let's see what people are saying on TikTok here. Let's see. Colin is in. Good to see you. Predictions for tomorrow. Go and watch my match preview on YouTube. We've got all predictions over there. Georgina, thanks for the gifts. Much appreciated. Let's see. What do you think of De Gea? Yeah, best of luck to him. But anyway, Bover says, wonder what they'll give out about after we make all the necessary signings. Well, yeah, look, I mean, they're already... The mainstream media is already piling the pressure on Erik ten Hag. Every outlet I've seen has been saying that Erik ten Hag will be sacked before Christmas. You know, TalkSport, that fucking dope Gabby Agbonlahor, Simon Jordan has been saying it, Danny Murphy has been saying it, you know, all of these anti-Manchester United pundits have been, you know. So, now look, Erik ten Hag has got a difficult job on his hands. Of course he does. We need to get the injuries, you know, stabilised. And I think if we can do that, you know, get a couple of good signings in before the end of the transfer window. Top 4, I think, is definitely on. I mean, when you're looking around at the teams around us, Chelsea are just signing everyone and their grandmother. How they're going to link all that together, I don't know. Liverpool haven't signed anybody yet. Arsenal have signed one player. You're talking about Spurs then. I think they're probably going to get Solanke. Newcastle are not doing much business. They're selling players. Aston Villa have got Champions League football to deal with as well. So I think top 4, if we can get a couple of good signings in between now and the end of the transfer window, I think top 4 is definitely on for us. And again, like I said, if we can keep our injuries relatively low this season, we can't have a season again like we did last year with 60 injuries. We can't be that unlucky. We really can't. 150k a squad player in Hermoso. Well, if that's in terms of wages, then I mean, when you don't have to sign the transfer fee, players tend to get offered more money in wages. Dara says, I honestly feel for Ten Hag, he gets so much pressure put on him from plonkers in the media. Well, Dara, welcome to being the Manchester United manager. We're the biggest club in England, hated, adored, never ignored. You know, and that statement is there for a reason. You know, nobody talks about Liverpool as much as United, or Man City as much as United, or Arsenal as much as United, because they're not bigger than Man United, and they don't get as many clicks, and they don't get as many, you know, views and traffic to the pages, and so on and so forth. And Liverpool fans might disagree with me with that, but, you know, tough fucking shit. You know, you've been the better team over the last decade, but still doesn't make you a bigger club. And that's why everybody talks about Manchester United on a consistent basis. What happened to all the Newcastle money? Did you say they're selling players? Yeah, I mean, there are talks of having to sell. Anthony Gordon has been linked with a move away, potentially going to Liverpool, I heard. And then there's also talks of maybe Kieran Trippier moving on as well. See, the thing about Newcastle is they are by far, well, they're not the richest club in the world, but they've got the richest owners in the world. But they can't spend their money. They can't spend their money because of FFP, because they don't generate as much money as the likes of United, as the likes of Liverpool, the likes of Arsenal, so on and so forth, the big clubs in England. And because of that, they can't spend money. So that's the issue with Newcastle. And, you know, you can have, and that's why when we were talking about Qatar, you know, I wanted Qatar to take over because it meant the Glazers were going to be gone completely. But I didn't want Qatar to take over because of the wealth that they had, because it didn't really make a difference to Manchester United. We would still be able to spend in or around the same amount of money regardless of what owner took us over, because an owner can't come in and just say, here's 15 billion, go and spend whatever you want. You can't do that with FFP. So that's the reason, you know what I mean? Anyway, guys, I want to move it on, and I want to talk about Aaron Wan-Bissaka, and obviously this relates to Mazraoui coming the other way, and Manchester United. And again, I mean, I spoke about this last week. I had a feeling that the Bayern Munich double deal for De Ligt and Mazraoui was being held up because of Aaron Wan-Bissaka's exit. Okay, now if United are going and getting a double deal, you know, 2 for the price of 1, or whatever the case may be, or will knock 10% off if you buy both of them, I think that was probably one of the reasons why we're seeing the deal being held up, is because we're waiting for Wan-Bissaka to leave the club. Now, we heard last week that potentially he didn't want to leave and he wanted a payout. But we've heard from Fabrizio Romano today, and he has said that West Ham remain in active talks for Wan-Bissaka. And obviously this is on the back of, hearing that he wasn't going to leave. Sky Sports have also said positive talks continue for West Ham over a deal for Wan-Bissaka, who is currently negotiating exit terms with Manchester United. So there is some kind of compensation package, you would say. If West Ham are going to be giving him, let's say he's on 120 grand a week, if West Ham are going to be giving him 100 grand, are United going to maybe give him an extra 10, between now and the end of next season to make up, whatever the case may be? I'm not 100% sure, how them kind of things work. And we have heard from the West Ham side as well. Now, this guy, ex-West Ham employee, is pretty spot on with a lot of his West Ham predictions. He says the same. Wan-Bissaka's compensation package is very close to being agreed for him to join West Ham. The issue was holding up the transfer. And we've said this before, the domino effect. I think Wan-Bissaka holds the key to an awful lot of deals being done by United. Okay? And similarly with Jadon Sancho, we'll get on to him in a moment. But Wan-Bissaka leaving Manchester United, I think, will then automatically start the domino effect, and we'll see Mazraoui coming to United. We'll see the bids going in for Ligt. We'll see that, getting done. I mean, we already have personal terms agreed with all of these players. It's just about maybe getting the money in for Wan-Bissaka and then going, Bayern, there you go, and then an extra bit on top for you. So it's really, really positive news. What's the jersey behind you? It's this year's third jersey. So yeah, really, really positive news coming out, not just with incomings, but with outgoings as well. And I think the fact that, again, look, I will reiterate this, and I will say this every time about Wan-Bissaka. Really, really liked him as a Manchester United player. Fantastic fullback, old school defending fullback. But it's time to move him on. 1 year left on his contract. Let's get some money in the door for him and reinvest it and improve the squad. And again, we go back to the sentimentality aspect of fans to do with players. And it's completely understandable, because players give fans good or bad memories, okay? And, I will remember Wan-Bissaka for, having Kylian Mbappe in his pocket over in Paris that night we bet them. Absolutely one of the best defensive performances from a fullback I've ever seen. And, that there is sentimentality that builds with certain players. We have to get rid of that when it's time to move players on. You might love a player, but it might be time to move him on. Roy Keane, David Beckham, Ruud van Nistelrooy, Eric Cantona, the list goes on. The list goes on and on and on. We love all of these players when they play for us, but when the time has come to move them on, it's time to cash in, recoup some of the money you paid for them, and reinvest it and continue to improve and continue to to move forward. Because if you don't, you'll end up like Everton. Thanks to everybody hitting the follow button as well, guys, on TikTok. If you are new to the channel, hit that follow button. Todd, thanks for the follow. Kieran, thanks for the follow. Rich, thanks for the follow. Jason as well. Much appreciated, guys. Mamadou, thanks for the follow also. Really do appreciate it. Keep hitting that follow button if you're new to the channel, guys. Anybody watching on TikTok as well, or sorry, on YouTube, appreciate everybody hitting that subscribe button. On the road to 11,000 subscribers. If anybody on TikTok wants to get over to YouTube, we have all of these articles on the screen. Link is on my homepage. Come on over, hit subscribe, jump into the chat and say hello. Hit the like button as well on YouTube. And guys as well, just to let everybody know on YouTube, link is in the description for the new merch store. There was some issues with the last one. that's done and dusted now. Everything is up and running, and we've actually got some new good designs. Let me see, can I find... I'm really proud of my Lenny Yoro design, I have to say. I absolutely love it. I'll put it up on screen in a moment for you. So yeah, if you want to get your merchandise before the start of the season, go check it out. Obviously, it supports the channel an awful lot, so I do appreciate that, as always. Let me just see here real quick. I'll see, can I get a picture of it for you? But yeah, I mean, yeah, absolutely. I'm delighted with the new merch store. So yeah, make sure you're checking it out, and yeah, make sure you we've got... Do you know what the new merch store does, which the last one didn't, is they've got canvases. So the little canvases that you hang on your wall with the designs, they look absolutely sick. I'm going to get a couple of them myself and hang them up around the place. So go check it out. I'll throw it up in a minute. Let's see what you guys are saying here. Danny says, I'm actually shocked and surprised by Aaron Wan-Bissaka asking for £7 million payout. I didn't think he was that type of player, but money talks. Getting him gone will help us buy more players. Let me see. I've got the picture. Let me put it up on the screen and show you. Oh, it's sick. If I can. There it is. Now that's nice. Now obviously it comes in a range of different colours. But yeah, that's the Lenny Yoro design. Made that today myself, so I'm really, really proud of that. But yeah, go check it out, guys. There's loads of ones there. There's Roy Keane ones. There's Marcus Rashford, Kobbie Mainoo, FA Cup final designs there as well. Go check it out. Link is in the description of the video. Do appreciate it as always. But let's move it on, guys, and let's talk a little bit about Manuel Ugarte. Now, obviously, we spoke last night, didn't we, about what was people's priority in terms of the remainder of the transfer window and where we need to improve. Now, centre back was the number one priority, but right behind that was central midfield. Okay, and I think it was a big concern for me. I won't lie. We hadn't recruited anybody in midfield. It was the only area of the pitch that we didn't improve yet. Now, we did hear obviously last week and into this week that a deal for Manuel Ugarte was kind of falling by the wayside, and United were kind of moving away from him and looking at other people. But again, Florian Plettenberg has been talking today, and he's been saying that Manchester United and PSG are still in negotiations to find an agreement about a permanent deal for Manuel Ugarte. Ugarte wants to join Manchester United, and we do know, of course, that personal terms are already agreed there. Now, you know, all of these things, you know, we're talking about Manuel Ugarte. We're also talking about, you know, these two guys being, you know, close to Manchester United, are not moving away from him. It absolutely... It's so refreshing to hear, and we spoke about this, I think it was last night we spoke about it, that United need to dig their heels in the transfer market, because for far too long we've been getting taken advantage of. We overpay for players, you know, we then panic buy at the end of the transfer window and say, oh, we'll go on, we'll give you the money. It looks like Ineos and, you know, the powers that be that are working for him, Dan Ashworth, Jason Wilcox, Omar Barada, are saying, no more. We're not getting taken advantage of. If you want us to stay at the negotiating table, negotiate with us. We are not being taken advantage of anymore. And if you don't do that, then fine. We'll walk away and we'll go and sign Sander Berge from fucking Burnley or whoever it may be, you know. And that naturally, from the selling club, will bring them back to the table a lot quicker than if you went, oh, please, you know, you're like going with your, you know, cap in hand saying, no, please, sir, can I have some more? It just doesn't work. And Ineos quite quickly in their first transfer window have said, enough, we're not doing that anymore. You know, and I think it all comes down to having a plan when it comes to the transfer market in terms of tiering the players that you're looking at. So first of all, it's Ugarte. All right, if Ugarte doesn't work, then, or it was João Neves, I think, was first. Okay, all right, well, if João Neves is not working, then it's Ugarte. If Ugarte doesn't work, then we look at Sander Berge. And if Sander Berge doesn't work, we'll look at fucking Brian McClare, bringing him out of, even though he played up front. I played centre midfield with him last week, sorry. So that's what it's all about. And when you're talking about central defence as well, you know, we went, right, De Ligt is number one. Then all of a sudden, Yoro came on. Right, Yoro is first. Get him in. De Ligt, okay. If we can't get De Ligt, then we'll move on to someone else. You know, Brandtwaite, for example. Too much. We're moving away. You know, we've been talking about a free transfer from Atletico Madrid, which we'll get into in a minute. So it's the way it should be. And it's the way it needs to be going forward for Manchester United to be successful in the transfer market. We have to not let teams take advantage of us, because if they do, it will continue to happen. Now, we've had an update from Fabrizio Romano 3 minutes ago. Let me bring it up on the screen for you. It's in relation to Aaron Wan-Bissaka. He says West Ham hope to complete Aaron Wan-Bissaka deal in the next few days, as they are now busy to sign all documents for Todibo. Mazraoui waiting for Manchester United as soon as Aaron Wan-Bissaka leaves. So there we go. Like we said, the domino effect will happen as soon as Wan-Bissaka leaves. Mazraoui been great to hear that update from Fabrizio Romano. And like we said, it just looks like West Ham are, you know, obviously concentrating on Todibo. West Ham are doing a madness in the transfer window, by the way. I think they've probably got more signings than any other club in the league at the moment. So yeah, it looks like they're just looking to get the deal done for Todibo, and then they'll wrap up the Wan-Bissaka deal, which is great for us, because that means then hopefully, will we see something over the weekend? Probably not. It'll probably be into the start of next week. But good news. Manuel Ugarte to Manchester United is still on, which is great to hear. And, you know, going back to what I was saying, when you don't have multiple options, and as well with Manchester United, it's not that we're waiting for, for one deal to collapse before we start working on another deal. Manchester United are working on multiple deals in the background, you know, and opposition clubs are completely aware of this, you know, and that just shows and exudes strength when it comes to the transfer market. So the fact that we're already looking at, you know, Sander Berge or whoever else it may be in central midfield will instantly put the jitters into PSG and going, oh, right, okay. Like, they literally will walk away if we don't start negotiating with them, and then that brings them back to the table. So look, obviously Manuel Ugarte is going to be the priority when it comes to central midfield, but I think I would be really happy, and that might free up more players to actually leave. Will Casemiro then go, right, I'm not going to be playing, so it's time for me to move on? You know, that remains to be seen. Let's get down through some of your comments here and see what you guys are saying. Let's see. I wonder, will we see Collier be integrated into the first team this season? Well, look, if FA Cup finals are anything to go by, he will be. And my reason being is that last year's FA Cup final, at the end of it, Kobbie Mainoo wasn't part of the squad, and Erik ten Hag had his arm around him and pointing, saying, this could be you. And we seen what he done 12 months later. He scored in an FA Cup final. And this year's FA Cup final, Ten Hag done the exact same thing to Toby Collier. So, look, he's played a good bit of football in pre-season. So, I wouldn't be surprised if we see him play tomorrow. I think he is part of the squad. Is he? Yeah, he is. He's part of the squad travelling to Wembley, which is great news. Now as well, guys, update from Fabrizio Romano on Ugarte. He says Manchester United spoke to agents of some midfielders, but they're still waiting for Ugarte. He is the priority. Okay, so that's good news. Okay, and again, like I said, I do think Ugarte will be the number one option, and let's hope we can go and get it done. Dylan says, just swap Jadon for Ugarte. It's not that hard. Well, you know, that's easier said than done, Dylan, because you've got fees coming both directions. You've got players agreeing terms in both directions. You've got bonuses. You've got agent fees from both. It can get quite difficult, to be quite honest with you. Either do something in the window now or trust the youth. Well, look, I mean, according to Florian Plettenberg, it's going to get done. Danny says, if we are to sign Ugarte, we need to sign now. I don't want us to waste the whole summer chasing after him. Then we get him for overpaying prices. It needs to happen now or not. Well, I think Ineos will have backup options. We're already, by all accounts, we're looking at we're looking quite advanced for other central midfielders, Sander Berge, for example. So I think if United decide with a week to go on the transfer window, right, we're not going to get Ugarte, then I think we can pull the trigger on Sander Berge straight away and he's in, and you've got a central midfielder. But I do think it is, worth the wait. Wan-Bissaka had a payout put in his contract like Fred had. When a player triggers their 1 year extension, then they are entitled 50% of the transfer fee. Murta put that in Wan-Bissaka's. Alright, that's interesting from Macmillan. Chris says, I won't hold my breath on Wan-Bissaka to depart or Ugarte or Mazraoui to come. Negative, United negative channel tonight, are we? Come on. It's a positive end to a negative week, so I'm staying positive. And we've got a little beverage in hand, so I mean it's just it's Friday. Brian says, is the loan deal option for Ugarte off the table? Haven't heard it being talked about much. It came and went very quickly, Brian, to be honest with you. I don't really mind what we do with him. I think loan deals are quite smart moves in the transfer market, especially if you're trying to get multiple players in. So I don't mind. Maintenance in 3-1 United tomorrow. Love it. Macmillan says Fred was sold for 10 million, but because he had oh yeah, we read that already. Dylan says Eric is the man to build the youth moving forward. He knows how to build up players and make them class. Absolutely. Mason says, and also if United win tomorrow, looks like a promising season, and also is Xerxes part of the squad? He is. I'm going to get into the matchday squad in a moment, but I do want to move it on, guys. And I want to talk a little. We'll talk about Sander Berge while we're on the midfield area. And this goes back to what we've been saying about multiple deals being done at the one time. Man United will have to pay 30 million for Sander Berge. This is according to the Mirror. Burnley will not block his return to the Premier League, but are determined to get full value for Berge if he does leave. Bye. Good luck. See you later. No thank you. 30 million? Absolutely not. Look, I spoke about Berge last night, and I do think he would be a decent addition to Manchester United. His stats and the way he plays the game would be very suited to a ball-playing central defensive midfielder. Okay, he likes to get on the ball. He's got a good pass completion rate. His progressive carries are very good, and then the defensive side of his game, aerially, he's an absolute beast. So I don't think it would be a bad signing, but for 30 million, no. See you later. Would I rather keep Scott McTominay? Probably not. You know what I mean? But look, regardless of what the price would be, my point about this whole situation is, we go from Ugarte. If that doesn't work, okay, with 3 days to go on fucking transfer deadline day, if we realise we're not getting Ugarte, bang, pull the trigger on this guy and get him in the door. Because you can already have maybe fees agreed, personal terms agreed, and you're just waiting to pull the trigger. You know what I mean? Yeah, there we go. Happy days. Macmillan says, why fart and waste when you can burp and taste? I like that one. I've never heard that one before. Right, let's move it on and talk about another outgoing. Lads, before I do, please hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so already. We're getting very, very close to 11,000 subscribers. I really, really do appreciate it. Hit the like button as well. We've got 50 people watching and only 25 likes. Now, I'm not that good at maths, but I think that's half of you haven't hit the like button. So do hit that like button for me if you can, and hit the subscribe button as well. It's great to see new people in the chat every night as well, guys, which is absolutely fantastic. If you are new, jump into the chat, get your comments in, and we'll read them out. I do appreciate it. And you have to be subscribed to comment as well, by the way. But anyway, let's move it on and talk about this lad, Jadon Sancho. Duncan Castles, who is a journalist for the Sunday Times, has said that PSG have had direct discussions with Manchester United for Jadon Sancho and that talks are advancing. Now, again, we spoke only a moment or two ago about the domino effect with Wan-Bissaka and obviously Mazraoui coming in. Now, again, I don't think it's as set in stone for Jadon Sancho and Manuel Ugarte, but I do think, I mean, there has to be some kind of link there. There has to be some kind of link there. You know, obviously we want Ugarte, PSG want Jadon Sancho, and you know what? I think it's an ideal situation for PSG wanting Jadon Sancho because he suits PSG. He's a mercenary. You know, he's an individual. He's not a team player. I think he will suit PSG down to the ground. And look, opposition fans will go, look, he's playing in the Champions League semi-final. Brilliant. Fair play to him. You know, he played in the final last year and lost it. Doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Done absolutely nothing at United in the time that he's been here. I've got no time for unprofessionalism at United. We've waited far too long for positivity to come back to our beloved club, and players like him are not going to bring that back. So bye, I'm sorry. Kel says talking shit. Who, me or that comment? I don't know what you're on about, you, because you're just an old lad just commenting on a TikToker's page. So yeah, whatever. I can't wait for Jadon Sancho to leave. I cannot wait for him to leave. And I hope he leaves as quick as possible so we can get some money in the door and reinvest it into the squad. And I know there are people out there who like him and think that, you know, he's got talent and he's got some ability and, you know, we should be using him and so on and so forth. I've no problem with us using him if we haven't got anybody else. But just get rid of him. Just get rid of him and let's reinvest and get someone else back into the squad. But going back to what I was saying, guys, I do think there is probably a link between the likes of Jadon Sancho agreeing terms. Like we have terms agreed pretty much with Manuel Ugarte, and it looks like Jadon Sancho has, and I think he does actually have personal terms agreed with PSG. It's all down to the clubs negotiating on a price. Now, I'm sure, you know, we don't have two people negotiating for Sancho and two people negotiating for Ugarte. I'm sure it's all on the, you know, the same Zoom call or whatever the case may be. So, you know, it does open up the boundaries of, you know, look, you want 50 million for Ugarte. We only want 40 million for Jadon Sancho. You know, let's call it 40 million each, you know, and then we, you know, let's just do a swap deal. And grand, you don't lose money, we don't lose money. I think there are, you know, actual space for negotiating there. There really is. And look, I mean, we need Ugarte. I don't know how much PSG need Jadon Sancho. I hope they need him very much. But we do need Ugarte. And I do think once one happens, the other one will. And maybe that's why the negotiations and for this deal specifically, Ugarte has slowed down because you're trying to negotiate for two players at the one time. And of course, I mean, if you're negotiating for one player and it takes a month, you know, surely negotiating for two players is going to take a bit longer. So, look, again, I'm very positive around this one, and let's hope we can get done. I think we're getting rid of a player that we need to get rid of and getting in a player that we desperately need in a position that we desperately need to improve. Ron says, what are you talking about? There's wages to take into account and contract lengths, etc. Well, what are you talking about? Because they've already agreed personal terms. You know what I mean? So wages are already agreed. Sancho has agreed personal terms with PSG. We've agreed personal terms with Ugarte weeks ago. It's down to negotiating between the two clubs on a price. So, yeah. Anyway. Yeah, good. Happy days. Let's move it on, guys, and talk about another centre-back that United have been linked with today, okay? Now, this is coming out from Spain specifically, a journalist from Seville. Now, look, I've never heard of him before, so this is one where we do that and we take a pinch of salt. Take it with a pinch of salt and on how true it actually is. Manchester United have initiated official contact with free agent defender Mario Hermoso. Negotiations are in the initial phase. Hermoso is asking for a gross salary of €6 million and a 3-year contract. Okay, I had a look into this guy, and he's 29 years of age, so he's outside the parameters that we heard before the transfer window that, you know, Ineos want to sign players 26 or below, or 25 and below, whatever it was. 26 and below, I think. Or was it 25? Whatever it was. And I obviously, done a TikTok on this today, and, you know, a lot of opposition fans were going, I thought you were staying with, under 26, absolute bottle jobs. It's a guideline. It doesn't mean it's set in stone. You know what I mean? I mean, if name me an unbelievable player that's over the age of 25. I've gone completely blank, but anyway, if they become available and you have a chance to sign him, you're going to sign him, Now, this guy, left-footed centre-back, so would give good competition and cover probably more than anything else to Lisandro Martinez. Big chap. And is very much a ball-playing centre-back. Likes to get on the ball, has a good, progressive carries are good, pass completions are good, playing out from the back is good, and yeah, you would be getting a similar style to Lisandro Martinez, except he has the height of a centre-back, where Lisandro Martinez doesn't. But look, I'm not going to swap Lisandro Martinez for anybody. So look, it's interesting that United, and again, we go back to what we've said, multiple negotiations going on at the same time. And I will cheers to that every day of the week. When we can have multiple deals going on at the same time, it gives you breathing space. And you don't have to be going into the final couple of weeks of the transfer window going, oh, Jesus, are we going to sign anyone? You can go, right, okay, the Ligt is off. Bayern won't budge. We'll move on. And then you've got this guy ready to rock and roll because he's a free agent. Bang, sign on the dotted line. In you come. There's your $6 million a year. Now, look, $6 million a year. Obviously, you're talking about €500,000 a month. Split over 4 months, you do the math, it's 125 grand a week. And sorry, I thought one of the babies was crying there. It's 125 grand a week. Now, a lot for a 29-year-old coming in on a free transfer, you might say. However, the reason for it being that high is because he is coming in on a free transfer. And we've seen Manchester United players do this in the past. Paul Pogba has done it, for example. Run down his contract twice. And why? To get a better deal when he's going as a free agent. You get a massive signing on bonus, you get better wages, so on and so forth. And players are well entitled to do that. Of course they are. So, I mean, if you're getting a guy like this on a free contract, on a free transfer on a 3-year contract, I don't think it's the worst thing in the world that we would be giving him 125 grand a week. I really don't. So I'm okay with this. Again, I go back to what I say all of the time. You need competition for every place in the team. And at the moment, Lisandro Martinez doesn't really... Now, I know centre-back can be quite different because, you can play Harry Maguire or Victor Lindelof or Johnny Evans or Lenny Yoro when he's back, can play either side of the defence. It's not a big deal. But you're bringing a left-footed centre-back in for direct competition. And I think that can only be a healthy and positive thing. And again, I will go back to what I've said. Historically, centre-backs at Atletico Madrid are good. They're just good. Atletico Madrid don't sign centre-backs unless they're good players. You know what I mean? So, yeah, or unless they're able to defend. And, coming into the Premier League, you have to be able to defend. So you do. Right, let's get down through some of your comments here and see what you're saying. Miguel says, I don't mind keeping Jadon if he puts his head down and puts in the hard work. See, the problem is, Miguel, he's had 3 years with us now. And he had a couple of good seasons at Bayern, at Dortmund, but was quite unprofessional, turning up late for training. And Pep Guardiola got rid of him for a reason, because he was unprofessional. Alex says, please, if Man United really want to sign Manuel Ugarte, let them do it now before it's too late. Macmillan says, Muppeteer said in his vid today that if we get a decent fee for Jadon, then we can maybe get a compromise on Ugarte. But it's a big if, as Jadon's wages and Ineos still think of him as an asset. Well, he is an asset. He is, and you're right there. He is an asset, and one that we identified, and everybody identified, before the transfer window, as one that we could get some relatively good money in for, to reinvest into the squad. Dylan says, Sancho is a guy that will set a bad example for the rest of the squad. He will be a shit professional, and then some of the other boys in the team might try to be like him. There we go. Username says, is McTominay not going to Fulham? Links to Fulham and McTominay have cooled in the last week or so, which is disappointing. So Jim Ratcliffe and Ineos do not want to sign players over the age of 25, so I don't think this will happen. Why are you setting the rules if they are to break them? They're not setting rules, they're setting guidelines. Now, guidelines are different to rules. Guidelines are to keep you in a certain pathway and a certain, plan going forward. It doesn't mean you can't step outside of that. It just doesn't. You know what I mean? Like, fucking Jesus Christ, name me a player. If Rodrigo became available at 26, you know what I mean? You're not going to turn him down. And he wanted to join United just because, we didn't say we're going to sign anyone over 25. They're guidelines, they're not rules. Miguel says, signing Hermoso on a free, I'd take it, especially as a backup. We desperately need it. Yeah, absolutely. Depth in the squad. Macmillan says, Atletico fans say he's got a calamity or three in him, apparently. Yeah, well, look, I mean, again, you're not signing, prime Sergio Ramos here, so he would, and I mentioned this today on the TikTok, he would be coming in more than anything as a backup to Lisandro Martinez, 100%. And again, you can use him against fucking Rotherham in the FA Cup and, Wigan in the fucking Carabao Cup and then, Helsingborg in fucking the Europa League, whatever it may be, and give Lisandro Martinez a rest. We've spoken awful lot about, he's not good enough to start for us. I know he's not. Alex Ferguson signed a fucking shit ton of players that weren't good enough to start, but that didn't mean that they didn't play a lot for United. They were squad players, and they gave the good lads a rest when needed, and that's what we need. Brian says Atletico defenders have to be good when you have the likes of De Gea behind you. Speaking of, Bex called and wants his throne back. Bex? I don't get that. Sorry. I don't get it. Sorry, Brian. Explain that one to me. Tommy says, when Yoro is back, who do you think, De Ligt or Yoro at right centre back? I think De Ligt. To be honest with you, I think De Ligt will probably play the majority of the games. Yoro is 18 years of age. I don't think Yoro is going to be sitting on the bench, constantly or anything. But it's a good headache to have for Eric Ten Hag. Real quick, guys, just want to let you know of the travelling squad to London for the game tomorrow. Onana, Binder, Heaton, Delot, Maguire, Evans, Martinez, Amas, Casemiro, Mount, Collier, McTominay, Manu, Fernandes, Rashford, Ahmad, Anthony, Garnacho, Sancho, Pellistri and Xerxes. Strong squad. And I'm surprised in some of the inclusions, the likes of Manu and Fernandes there, who are just back this week into pre-season. Martinez is only back this week as well into pre-season. Same with Delot. We've also got, who else have we got there? Garnacho is only back this week as well, and so is Xerxes. So, look, Erik ten Hag wants to win this game. Of course he does. He wants to win this game. And as I said, guys, we are going to be live tomorrow for the watch along. So please do join us for that. If you are around, I'd love for you to get involved. If anybody is new to the channel, do hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications as well, guys. Like I said, we're going to be live from 2:30 Ireland time tomorrow for the game. The first real watch along. I know we've done pre-season already, but the first real watch along of the season is upon us tomorrow. Go check out my match my match preview video, and we will be doing a match reaction video after the game tomorrow as well. So if you are an official channel member and you want to get involved in the match reaction video, by all means you can come on screen with us and give your thoughts and give your opinions. And if you want to become an official channel member, guys, before the start of the season, the link is in the description of the video. You're going to get some extra content this season. You're going to get FPL content, so the Fantasy Premier League. Make sure you are joining our FPL league as well, guys, if you haven't already done so. The link is in the description as well. Go join, and the winner gets a jersey of their choice at the end of the season. And yeah, we're going to be doing a monthly quiz as well, which we're going to be doing the first one, not next week. We're going to do it the week after. And yeah, plenty of added bonuses coming up for members. Link is in the description. Go check it out. Guys, I really appreciate y'all watching Friday night. Happy days. Really enjoyed it. Cheers to everybody. Have a good Friday night. Hope you're getting a takeaway, or well, you'll probably have it up by now. It's 10 to 10. But yeah, have a good night. I'll see you tomorrow. Please God, at 2:30 for United in the, I still call it the Charity Shield, but it's the Community Shield now. I'll see you tomorrow at 2:30. Hope to see you all there. Have a great evening. Come on, the Reds. Good luck.